Welcome to another season of Judge for Yourself. Just a few weeks to go before the fourth democratic general election in this country, we're holding a special series of debates with our political parties. We want them to debate particular issues of their election manifestos, and in this case, within the prison of the constitutional rights which are enjoined by South Africa, because this is a program about the Constitution. Now, of course, a fundamental right within the Constitution is to that of decent education, one way or the other. Now, we're going to debate this particular issue, I suppose, to a large degree with regard to primary and secondary education, but may well ask about tertiary education as well. Because the question we really are posing is to what extent political parties are in a position to vindicate, to ensure, guarantee the constitutional rights which South Africans of all walks of life fought so hard to ensure was there in 1994. If you'd like to join the debate on Twitter, the hashtag for the show is JFYEducation. To discuss these questions, we have in our Cape Town studio Angie Motshekga, who's a member of the ANC NEC and happens also to be the Minister of Basic Education. Dr. Wilmont, Federal Chairperson of the DA and a specialist in education. And Dr. Mamphele Ramphela, the Gang leader, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Town, who equally qualifies here. The question I suppose I want to do is to try to contextualize this. So we know that since 2009, the matric pass rate has increased by 18%. In 2009, 60.6% passed. In 2011, it was up to 70.2%. And last year, the pass rate was 78.2%. So that looks as if we're doing well. But critics would say, if you look at the class of 2013, out of 1.2 million students that started school in 2002, only 562,000 wrote their final exams in 2013. We could go on with figures, but I thought just let's contextualize in this way, and I want to give each of the parties' representatives here 90 seconds maximum to say what is in their manifesto, how would they deal with the particular problems which are confronting us with regard to education. Minister, perhaps I can start with you.
No, thank you very much for the opportunity, and we can say as the ANC, armed with 20 years of experience running a democratic system of education, can confidently say we know what works, we know where the challenges are, and in the next 5 years, we are quite clear what needs to be done. One is to strengthen the foundation phase, and that's why we're saying in our manifesto, we will make grade R compulsory and do work to make sure that we strengthen the ECD sector. We commit ourselves also to improving the quality of learning and teaching in our schools. We know where the challenges are. We've done assessment tests. It's around teachers. It's around making sure that indeed we have effective teaching in classrooms, and we'll do lots of work around teacher development and teacher support. We know very well that in order to have effective teaching, we must have very conducive learning environments. We're committing ourselves to making sure that in the next 5 years we ramp up our infrastructure program, but we also know that the majority of South Africans were denied education. We'll make sure that in the next 5 years we have the last push to finalize our campaign for adult literacy. And we know also very well, that's why I say we know where the challenges are, we know what makes it difficult for us to reach what we're supposed to reach, but we know what has worked, and we're going to improve on that which has worked. And the main challenges around ensuring that we have quality education, and as you showed, to arrest the attrition that we experience after grade 9, despite the fact that I can say it's only South Africa that measures its throughputs by expecting kids to go up to grade 12. Right. But as a country, on basic education, we can boast that we're at the level of your world countries, and we have met our Millennium Development Goals of equity between girls and boys and girl children, and we're reversing the dysfunctionality in your poor communities.
Thank you. Dr. James, your 90 seconds.
Well, the Democratic Alliance believes that our model, our governance and administrative model, when it comes to educational performance, the architecture for incentivizing quality schooling is very, very good. And in fact, it's the best in the country, and we would make this offer available nationally if we were to govern and when we will govern on a national level. The key items is to train more teachers. We believe that we should train 15,000 more teachers a year. We believe that we offer a better management system so we can ensure that every child is a textbook. a trained and motivated teacher. There's nothing like having an excellent teacher in the classroom and enough time in the classroom spent on actual teaching, that we think that there must be a program for involving parents in an organized and committed manner. We support, like the ANC, the introduction of formal grade R classes at every public primary school. We believe that performance should be rewarded, that we will focus on accountability for both teachers and principals, and teachers and principals who perform well should be rewarded for the work that they do. We think that we should focus the resources very specifically to ensure that low-income families who cannot afford school fees receive most support from government. And finally, we want to provide a supporting environment for learning by making sure that there's enough cognitive demand on pupils and scholars in school, that the curriculum is very specific and refined, and that there's a sufficient level of accountability to ensure that children do not drop out of the educational system.
Thank you. And Dr. Ramphela, your 90 seconds.
We believe that the education system in this country needs complete transformation. Start by aiming high and eliminate mediocrity. To have 30% as a pass mark is condemning young people to a life where there is no future. We believe that our children are as smart as any other child, and we need to simply make sure that quality education of the highest standard is available to every child. And to that extent, we believe in free education from grade 0 to higher education. We are a rich enough country to be able to do this, and graduates can pay it forward by doing national service work for 3 years. We also believe very fundamentally that teacher competence has to be audited, and we now need to pay attention to closing the gaps. Teachers have to be accountable for performance against set standards. We believe fundamentally in great infrastructure and eliminating violence from our schools, and that involves communities, parents, the private sector, and civil society. And finally, we need to make sure we monitor ourselves regularly and aim to be the top 10 in the next decade, because education is the key to the future of a winning South Africa. We can become a winning South Africa with excellent education.
Thank you very much. Now we've had all three setting out their agendas. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to debate this with all three of the participants.
News that moves. AgangSA.com.